Okay, guys, today we are going to discuss about route summary. Usually, the route summary is used to summarize the multiple route into the single supernet. See, for example, if I have, let me 192.168.0.0/24. I have one route. Okay, I have another route 192.168.1.0/24. I have another route 192.168.2.0/24. 192.168.3.0/24. How I can summarize these all four routes? I can summarize as 192.168.0.0/16. This means complete 192.168.0.02. It will cover 198.255. It will cover complete 192.168 segment. We can summarize many ways. Okay, we could call a SuperNetting. I can put it in this way also. Only if I want to complete this for 192.168.0.0/22. Then it will cover complete 4, 0, 1, 2, 3. We can put all those ways. Okay, how we are going to summarize? What the summarize will going to do? Why we need a route summary? Say for example, if I'm instead of advertising one route, if I'm advertising 4 routes, it needs a more. It needs more memory, more processing, more bandwidth. All those things we require. But if we do the summary, okay, we will get as a single route instead of 4 5 routes. Where this is the required in the sense, okay, if you go in the service provider environment, okay, there will be plenty of routes will be there. There route summary will help more. If it's a smaller network, it will not have much burden to the devices. Okay, there will be less resources will be used. Okay, we can easily manage it. But when it comes to the larger environment, it means a lot. Okay, the route summary, it means a lot. That's why the summary is the most important. There are some advantages as well as some cons and also is there. There is a pros and then cons also that we will discuss one by one now. If you see the pros, okay, it saves the memory. Okay, routing tables it will be the smaller, which reduces the memory requirement. For example, routing table, if instead of receiving a 4 routes here, I'll be receiving as a single route, which saves our memory. And then bandwidth. Whenever there is an advertisement comes, okay, instead of flooding 1,000 routes, I'll be sending as a single route. For example, in this case, I'm using a, for example, in one of my location, I'm using, okay, for example, 192.168.0.2. I'm using 255. I'm using a 255 VLANs, for example. Now the 255 VLANs, 255 subnets, I am advertising in my P2P or MPLS. Now, whenever something is happening, okay, my update will go with the 255 updates will go to the neighbor router. It will be overburdened to my network. So we can avoid with the summary route. If we have the summary route /16 for 192.168.0.0.0, okay, I can add the summary route. Then this can avoid multiple transaction. It saves my link bandwidth also. See, for control traffic itself, okay, in the BGP neighbor advertisement. So for example, you take a scenario, normal MPLS path means we'll be having only 5 or 10 subnets or 100 subnets or 200 subnets. Okay, if you take a service provider scenario, there are lakhs, lakhs of routes will be there. Okay, if those routes are summarized as a single route, it will be beneficial to the router resource. Even it will save the bandwidth. And then another beneficiary saves CPU, memory, CPU, and then stability of the route. Stability. For small changes and all, the routes will not go up and down, keep on going, routing, all those things. Okay, even smaller minor flap in the one routing. Okay, it will not go those things and all. Routing stability also will be there. That we will do the lab and we will show you how the router stability, all those things. And one more disadvantage. Now we are going to discuss our disadvantages. What will happen? Forwarding traffic for unused network. For example, 192.168.0.0/16, I'm advertising as a summary route. This is a summary route I'm advertising. This as a summary route as I'm advertising. Then here I'm using network 192.168.0.0/24. Like that, I'm keep on using 1.0/24, 2.0/24. Keep on going till 250.0/24 I'm using. Okay. Now 251, sorry, 251.0, 252.0, 253.0, 254.0 I am not using in my network. I not using the network. Okay, since I'm advertising summary route, it will for advertise the traffic which I'm not used. I cannot control this. Okay, it is forward the traffic for unused network also. It will be forwarding. Okay, this is one of the disadvantage in route summary. Another one is suboptimal route. What is a suboptimal route? See, routers prefer the path which is having a longest prefix match. What is the longest prefix match? See here, 192.168.0.0/60. I am receiving this route via router 1. 192.168.2.0/24. I am receiving via router 2. To reach 192.168.2.10. Which route I will use prefer? I'll prefer the R. Why? Because that is the longest prefix match route which I am receiving. So it I will be prefer here. See, when we use the summaries, it is a possible that your prefers another path where it has a land more specific form. Actually, this is my primary path. Instead of using that, I am using since because of this here I learned as a summary route. I am using the another path because this is one of the disadvantages in the route summary. We can overcome these issues and all that we will see in detail in the lab. That how we can tweak the metrics, all those things we can see. Now, just I am showing as a what is the disadvantage. So, for example, this is the best path for me. Since in this path I am receiving as a summary route, here I am receiving a longest prefix match rule best route. So, I am preferring this route, even though it is not a best path. Why? Because suboptimal routing is happening here. So, I am preferring this path. So, we will cover all those things in now lab. Now, let me show you the periods. Route summary is the method, is a route summary is a method where we can create one summary route that represent multiple network or subnet. It's called also a route aggregation or supernetting. It is called as a supernetting or route aggregation. The route summary, what is the advantages? It saves the memory. The routing tables will be smaller, which reduce the memory requirements of routing devices. Router, whatever the devices are in between there, they will save the memory. It saves the bandwidth also. There is less routes to advertise. So we have some save some bandwidth also. Say for example, in service provider scenario, and all, there will be lakhs of routes will be exchanging. Okay, then summary makes a more important in service provider environment, and then saves CPU cycle, less packet to process, and smaller routing tables to work on. And stability, it prevents the routing table instability due to flopping networks that we will see in lab. And there are few some disadvantages in summarization that which we discussed. Forwarding traffic for unused network. The router will drop a traffic when it does not have matching a destination in the routing table when we use a summarization. It is a possible that summary route covers the networks that are not in use. The router has summary route will forward them to the router that has advertised by summary route. So even though that route is not live, because of the summary route, that route has been advertised into the network. The suboptimal routing, the routers prefer the path with the longest prefix match when you use the summaries. Is it possible that you are prefer the another path where it is land more specific network from the summary route also is a single method? So we will see in detail in the lab. Now let me move into the lab. Now let me add. See, click here, node, router, two routers. We are adding. Routers were added. Connect the router back to back. Routers were connected back to back. Now let me add text here 192, 168, 12.0 slash 24, which I'm going to use here. This side dot one, this side as a now here I'm going to create a for loop backs. 72, 16, 0.1 slash 24, which is loopback 0, 172, 16, 1.1 slash 24, loopback 1, 172, 16, 2.1 slash 24, loopback 2, 172, 16, 2 dot, sorry, 3.1 slash 24, which is loopback 3. Total 4 loopbacks I'm going to create it. For loopbacks, I'm going to use this site. Now, let us use the RIP routing protocol as this is. Let me turn on the routers. Yeah. So, now routers are powered on. All the routers are turning on. Meanwhile, let me prepare a basic configuration in Notepad. Router 1 interface GI 0 slash 0 IP address 192 168 2.1 255.255.255.0. No shut. And then interface loopback 0 172 16 0.1 255.255.255.0. Loopback by default it will turn on. You don't need to give the no shut command. Loopback 1, loopback 2, loopback 3. Total 4 loopback gets created. Now let me see what is routers are not on. Meanwhile, 150 host name R1 Bangalore GTP Bangalore. Okay. Now let me configure R2. R2 R2 Chennai. Three routers came up. We need to wait for. Meanwhile, let us. Okay. You can copy, paste the router one configuration. Let's load it. Let us wait few more seconds. This is a router one. Let us paste the configuration which we prepared in the notepad. Now IP everything is configured. Now let us configure the basic configuration of router 2. Yes, router 2 also. We have done the basic configuration. Let me ping router 1 to router 2. Router 1 to router 2. Yes, it's reachable. Okay, now router 1 to router 2 is reachable. Let us configure a basic AGR RIP. We'll configure a RIP RIP routing protocol router RIP version 2 will use it. Then only we can do classless routing. I'll give the by default auto summary it will take. I'll give no auto summary network First, we have to establish a neighbor between two devices. Use this slash 0. Okay, this command will enable between router 1 to router 2. Now, let me advertise complete network of R1. Let me advertise as a whole network only 172.16.0.0. It will take as a, but how it is going to advertise, we'll see. Now, this side we have completed the configuration. Okay, RIP. Okay. Now, in router to enable RIP. Referencing routing information protocol, not what will RIP, not that. Config the router with version 2, no auto summary network. This neighborship establishment network will announce. Now, what I will do, let me enable the debugging. Debug IP RIP. I'll enable both the debug IP RIP in both the routers. Enabled. Now we'll see. Now we have received 4 routes. I want to show you guys one more thing. I'll disable that link and I'll show you this. See here. Wait for a few minutes. Okay, it will show the logs to us. Don't enable the debug commands in the live network. It will make a performance degrade in the devices. See here. Okay, we have since we have enabled the debug, we are getting updates. We are getting updates for 4 routes. Since I have enabled the auto summary, so every periodically our device is sending a updates. That's why again it will come. Every 30 seconds, it will send the updates. Even route is there or not also, it will send the updates. See, so every 30 seconds it will send. See here, it has sent us a 10:54:15. Again, next update came as a 10:54:43. Every 30 seconds, RIP sends updates. So, for example, now I have 4 routes. I am sending update. It's fine. If there is a plenty of routes, you will keep on sending. What will happen? It will overload my complete routing table, and then it is overhead to my router performance. Let me shut down one by one interface. What is the disadvantage also? I'll show you here. Interface loopback. So loopback 0. Shutdown. What will happen? Immediately here, this route will go as a null. Okay. Let me do one more thing. Again, no shut. I'll give. And that again I'll shut down. I want to show you guys one more thing. Every time, see here, 172.16.0.0/24 in one hops. I have added one more hops. That's what it's showing earlier. Every time it has to send a flashing, all those things, okay, suppressing routes, all those things. Even small changes in the route also, it has to change everything in the routing table. That's what I said. Stability. Routing summarization will help us in the route stability. Now there is no summary here. We could not able to see the route stability. Now let us try with the route summary. Let me stop all debugging. Debug all. all, all. Same I'll do here. And debug all. Now let us do with route summary. What happens? Let's see. Let me go to the router one small command interface config t interface gi0/1 IP summary RIP. See this only I am using in the RIP. Okay, other routing protocols we have different way. Just here I am demonstrating what is the route summary, not about the routing protocols. Routing protocols we will discuss in detail in our future classes. /6. I given this command. Now, sorry, this command I supposed to give in router 1, not here. Why? Because this router is not advertising here anything here. Okay, our router 1 only advertising. So address 50 interface gi0/0. Let me enable IP summary. Okay. Now let us go to RP. Let's wait 30 seconds. So IP router. Yes. Already here we received a summary route. See here. Already we have received a summary route. Along with this, three are the dash to wipe out. Still, these routes are null. It has enabled debug IP rip. Let us see. It is sending update to one or all. Earlier we were receiving the every 4 updates, right? Now let us see we are receiving only one update or all the updates. We're supposed to receive only one update. Let us see. We have enabled the debugging. Yeah, see. Earlier, here we were receiving the 4 updates. If you see, earlier we were receiving the 4 updates. Now we could able to see only one update. Showing, let me, yeah. Yes. Disable and enable rip. Let us enable summary in both the side. We are not supposed to receive this. Could be the let me disable rep communication and enable it. Still the prompt went down. Let us disable this for 2 minutes and then we'll enable it. config interface GI 0/0. No, sure. No IP router. Now you could able to see only one routes. It automatically it has to get fleshed out, but it has not done. Yes. Might be this could be the router bug or something. Okay, now we could able to see only one prefix is landing, which is router one suboptimal summarized routes. Now for all these, we are receiving only one summary route. We are receiving only one summary route. 72.0.0/16. We are receiving this as a summary route. What I will do now, router 2 we are receiving as a debug. Now let me ping 172.16.0.1. Able to ping. From router 2 I am pinging 172.16.0.1. Now let us shut down one by one loopback. Now I'm going to shut down a loopback here. Shut down back here. Shut down back here. Shut down back here. 150 interface loopback 1. Shut down. I'm shutting down. Now here I can't ping the loopback 1. Okay. Sorry, loopback 0, which is shut. Okay, now I'm making the loopback shut. Now you means unreachable. We can't able to reach out the network. See, after shutting the loopback 0 and 1 also, I'm able to see the summary route. But actually, the 1 and 2 is not reachable, but we are learning the routes. Similar way, let me shut down one by one till we shut down the last loopback. We will get the routes or changes. Now, let me shut down the last loopback also. Now, we will not receive any routes here. Now, let me see here. We lost the routing. See, we added a summary route. Okay, until completely even one network also publishing means it will advertise the route. Okay, otherwise it will stop it. Now here let me turn on the only one loopback one, no shut. Now it will start populating the routes. Take 2 minutes, few seconds. That's it. Yeah, the routing got installed. Now only I have turned on the only one loopback, which is loopback 1, which is a 1.0/24. Immediately it is got turned on. So here router 3. It will not get turned on. I need to restart all the routers. And it will work. Let me save the configuration and turn it off and stop all nodes. Connection start off. It's not showing stop all nodes. Just to show the interfaces, otherwise something wrong in this. Just to show like this, otherwise something problem with this. So let's double check while doing it. Now let me turn on the devices. Now we are going to use this 3 router scenario. So we are going to use it. For router 3, let us prepare a basic configuration. .92, 168, 13.0/24. In this, 68.24. For router 2, so that is now router 3, we are going to do the configuration. Config T host name Hyderabad. This R3 Hyderabad. Interface GI 0/0 IP address 192.168.13.3 255.255.255.0. Another interface is Orchard. Their interface is 23. Now this has done. Now let us see our routers. Let's take few minutes to turn on. Let's open and keep your similarly router 2 also we need to add few more configuration. Router 1 interface GI 0/1 IP add 192.168.13.1 255.255.255.0 No, sir. This is the interface which is connected to router 3. Right about that. Similarly, we need to add a configuration in router 2 as well. So 3.2. Why I am using that dot 2 3 means the router 1 means it is easy for us. To duplicate, to duplicate. Down 3. Now let us turn on all the routers. Router is turned on. This is router 3. Basic configuration. Router 2 also ready. And 1 also ready. Now let us do the basic configuration. Router 2 interface configuration. Let us do router 2 interface configuration. Basic configuration of interface configuration. Yes. Now router 1 interface configuration we need to do, which is connected to router 3. Now let us do the configuration of router 3 as well. A few minutes. Yes. Now router 2 we did the router 3 also we did a basic configuration. Let me move to the router 1. Router 1 already we have configured the RIP towards the router 2. Now we need to configure the RIP towards router 1. Router RIP network 192.168.13.0. This command is sufficient to enable the RIP into router 1 to router 2. Router 2, 3 also we need to enable router 1 to router 3. This is the network which we used. Now we need to prevent one more thing. Otherwise, there are chances of route loops. What will happen? Let me show you. Whatever I'm advertising already R2. Again, it will go to R3. R3 will advertise here. It will go here and there, here and there. A route loop will happen. So what I am going to do, whatever I'm R1 is there, I will not advertise to R2, R3. I will advertise only to R3. Let me do the filtration here. Let me create an access list. Access list. I'm creating access list 1. Any. any. It means it will completely any. Okay, this is a standard access list. It will deny completely. Now router rip. I'm going distribution. I'm using distribute. This in distribute and all we will see in detail in upcoming classes. Distribute list one. I'm calling this router access list one. Okay, which is the interface we connected for router 3 GA0/1. I'm controlling here in. I should not receive anything from the R3 via this interface. So this command is R1. The access list R1 required to prevent R1 from installing any rip routes from R3. Otherwise, what will happen? The summary route of advertise from R1 to R2, R2 to R3, R3 to R1. It will be causing the route loop. So to avoid that, I should not receive any route from R3 to R1. So I'm using this by using this distribute list. I'm preventing. Okay, I'm using the access list one. The access list one I mentioned as a deny. So it will not allow anyone to come inside. Now R2, R1 is completed. Let me do the configuration in R2 now. Run section RAP. Config T router RAP network 192.168.23.0, which is the connected network to the R3. Here done, job is done. Now let me go to the R3. Here no, as of now we are not configuring any RIP. We are going to configure router RIP network. Sorry, first we need to call version 2. All the location we use the version 2. Here also same version. No auto summary network 198.168.13.0, which is the connected to R1. Another network is R2 network 23.0. Now we have enabled it. Now I have enabled the R1 to R3 network, R1, R3 to R2 network. Both is added in R3 router. Now let me show IP route. Sorry, show IP route RIP. Let us wait. It takes some time. Still the reachability first. Oh, sorry, my bad. Here I have not configured fully. I have not configured properly the interface addresses. Now we done it. Then is given as a typo. We corrected now. Now so this now interface are coming up. Show IP route. Okay. This way, few seconds. Their interfaces and all I have configured properly. Hmm. My still routes are not analyzed. Let us see section RIP. Okay, my bad, guys. Okay, I have configured IP addresses wrongly in network. That's why it's not established a RIP table. Let me remove these two network. Now let us now we will get established neighborship. Now let us verify. I think there are not two as well as R1 section or I have given. Yeah, here all I given right IP. Yes, now routings are getting populated. Now I want to do one more thing. I have scheduled. Let us check the loopbacks on our upper one. Let me turn on all the loopbacks. I'll turn on all the loopbacks. Already I have the full finished. So let me go to the R3 now. See here, I have here. I have a route from router 2, which is summarized route from R1. I'm directly receiving a all optimal routes, suboptimal routes. I'm receiving suboptimal routes. So this is the catch here. There are chances of suboptimal routes. R1 is directly advertising the suboptimal route to the router 3, Hyderabad router. Via this, he is learning the summary route. That is the problem catch here. That's what I want to show you guys. Let me show you. Let me go to the show IP route. Here I'll show you one more. See here, guys. What happened here in R2? I am not receiving here summary note actually. I supposed to receive the summary note. The summary now, the summary note I am receiving it, but I'm along with that I'm receiving the suboptimal route from the R3. Now, see R1 is directly connected to my R2, but via R3 I'm receiving the routes that is shortest path, showing as an optimal route, suboptimal route. This was he will call it suboptimal. This is a catch here in route summary. While doing the route summary and all, we need to do very much properly. Let me do the trace route 172.16.0.1. So, let us see what is coming output. Now we have suboptimal routing on R2. That's the problem now. First, see R1 is directly connected to my R2, but the R3 guy is advertising the longest prefix match, longest prefix routing, which is directly landing from the R1. It is forwarding to the R2. Now R2, even though is having a summarized route and then shortest route also, that is longest prefix match. So it is preferring these routes. Now see the trace route. See here, it's happening. So it is going to R3 and then it is going to R1. That's what I want to cover it in today's session. Hope it clears you what is the purpose of summary route and then how the summary route advantage, disadvantage, all those things we have in detail discussed in today's session.